All right. Good morning, everyone. Of course, this is Coach Steele's Finance Training, and we are live on today at Coach Steele's Finance Training. And as you already see, if you're watching, you'll see that there's someone in the room, and I'm going to introduce him in about 2 or 3 minutes. So hold tight, ladies and gentlemen. But you are here with Coach Steele's Finance Training, and I am your host, Coach Steele. Excited about this morning because we get to talk more about taxes on today. And of course, last week we spoke about taxes and we had a great conversation about basic tax tips, but I only know so much. And so I'm happy to have someone on today that can help us out and also talk about his journey as well. And today we are graced and blessed to have Mr. Trey Harris on this morning, and he is here representing Southeast Tax Specialist LLC, and that is his business. And as you all come in on today, you already know the rules. I want you all to greet us, tell us good morning. If you do have tax questions, you can throw some of them at us. We'll try our best to get to those towards the end. So make sure you keep those in mind. And like I said, this should be a great conversation talking about financial literacy like we normally do on Coach Steele's Finance Training. And I'm excited. Once again, we have Mr. Trey Harris in the building on today. Where you are, ladies and gentlemen, just go ahead and clap it up. So, Mr. Trey Harris, and representing your business, Southeast Tax Specialist, uh, how are you doing today?
Man, Coach Steele, I am doing better this week because look, starting with MLK Day, I caught the flu and
Mm.
been bedridden since Monday to Wednesday. I was finally able to walk around a little bit Thursday and yesterday, and now I'm feeling better.
Well, that's good that you are doing better. I could tell when you first jumped on, I could still hear it. I was like, he's still
Yeah.
recovering a little bit because honestly, you could have easily said, you know what, coach, I need about another week. Give me some more time to feel better. But I do respect and appreciate what you did on today because you had a valid reason not to be here, and I wouldn't have counted it against you. But you definitely toughed it out and you pushed through. So I definitely appreciate that. And we do have a few people saying good morning, Tony Sherman, Miss Linda. And so good morning to everyone as you jump in the room. We have Trey Harris here with us. And it's funny because just like we talked, about a minute ago, we haven't talked in I don't know how many years, like since you went off to college. Like how many years ago was
Look, don't feel old.
that?
But been about 8.
8 years?
Been about 8.
Oh wow. I didn't realize it was that much. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's been a while. So it's been a long time. And so even with this interview that we're having, as everyone is getting to know who Trey Harris is, I'm getting to know who you are today as well. And I'm excited about it. I knew who you were as a young man. I watched you in probably started watching you in middle school and then a lot more in high school and got to know you. Actually got to help coach your older brother as well. And of course, I know your mother pretty well during that time frame because Miss DeWanda does not miss a game.
No.
She does not miss an event. So shout out to your mother as well. And just watching her, how she was just so instrumental in your life with always being there no matter what. She did not play about her boy. So definitely want to say good morning to her. I haven't talked to her in a while either. We got social media, and she is the social media comedian. But Trey, can you give us an update right now, kind of where you are and what you're currently doing in your life?
Yeah, so really the whole time, like these past 8 years, I've been in South Carolina. And
Mm-hmm.
I went to school at Charleston Southern first, and then I transferred to Morris College and I finished out with a bachelor's in business administration in 2022. And now I'm working as I like to call it financial analyst, but they call it
Mm-hmm.
something different for my job. It's with the government contractor, and I started with them this past November. And I can say it's probably one of the best jobs I had so far. for real.
Nice.
But
Nice. Okay.
I also do Uber, and I also started looking into crypto. So like I'll start asking a little bit questions your way.
Okay. So with as a financial analyst with this new company, can you give us just kind of a summary of what's required of you or what you do?
Yeah, so my responsibilities for they're called the SAIC. So my responsibilities with the SAIC is to ensure that the customers are being shown like the right amount of expenditures, or making sure like we're using the right amount of expenditures
Mhm.
for the amount of money that they give us, and making sure like the labor, travel, material, and other direct costs are being allocated correctly. That's like the main focal point they wanted to make sure of.
Okay. What got you so interested in business and this flow and this movement of money?
So I can tell you right now, it wasn't my first choice. My first choice was to go the route of being a physician assistant, but yeah, that was a no go for me. So um, I was very sports minded. I didn't really think too much else other than sports up until 2021, like late in 2021.
Hmm.
So I always knew I was good with math, and I was like, being a young person, I'm just like, all right, I'm good with numbers. Let me figure out what's kind of like around this realm real quick. And I took a liking towards, just making sure like everything's just looking accurate. So that's when I started looking to accounting.
You know what's interesting is you're tapping in on one of the questions and thoughts that I wanted to deal with on today because of course, you can't tell now, but when I was younger, I used to be an athlete. I used to play multiple sports, but my specialty was cross country and track. And of course, I know you did both of those as well. And of course, my oldest son, Simon Jr., he did it as well. I went on to run cross country and track at Mercer University and in high school, I competed at a high level, had all of this great fun like with sports. And when people saw me, that's what they knew me for the different sports that I played. And then when I got into college, it was a point of I don't think I want to do this anymore. And trying to find myself and who I was outside of this sports world, right? Now, when you were younger, I always knew you were smart. You weren't just an athlete, but where do you and you may have figured this out in high school, but did you go through a similar transition of always known as an athlete? You played, I mean, even basketball in middle school, we could see from at middle school this kid had talent, this kid is gifted, he's an athlete. In high school, jumping out the gym, you go off to college taking those same athletic skill sets. And I think you ran track in college, and I saw you played some basketball as well. Did you
Mhm.
go through a transition of trying to figure out who Trey was outside of sports?
Oh yeah, I'm still doing that now actually, and it's so like sports, like you said, it was such an integral part of my life, like growing up, and so graduating is just different. Like now it's just okay. I'm not a student athlete no more, and now like I'm not a student. I mean, technically I am, but I mean, I'm not in school no more. So it's like,
Hmm.
who is Trey? And so that's been my question that I've been getting answers to like ever since I graduated, still to this day, and slowly been figuring out that answer. So that's where using stepping stones right now.
Interested. Yeah, it's an interesting transition as you go through all of that. And I remember going through it myself. And so I thought about that with you. And what's cool is a lot of the skills and a lot of what you learn, the training, the discipline as an athlete at a young age, you now can transition all of that skills, fundamentals, and discipline and training and repetition into the career and occupations that you're in now in life. And so that's where it helps you is who you were in certain practices, you can carry those over to where you are. And so when we look at Southeast Tax Specialists, with that being your business, how did all of that come about with you diving into taxes?
So when I started it was under pretense with a mentor. So I got a mentor, or I was like peeking into trying to do tax preparation services, but with my circumstances at the given time, I couldn't join Jackson Hewitt or H&R Block, nothing like that. So I ended up getting to know somebody named Delaney, and basically she was like, "Hey, yeah, basically like I can walk you through like what goes on during the tax season or tax filing season," and then because some people like they just stick around for the filing season and then they call it that, but some other people like they have their business set up to where they can function year round. So it's not just like tax preparation. They do like they either do like some type of bookkeeping or credit restoration or something like that on the side. And so I was trying to get into all that. And I told her, I was like, yeah, this sounds something I'm interested in. And she basically gave me the keys. Like she gave me a lot of things that I wasn't really expecting. But I told her I'm choosing not to operate for 2024. So the whole last year, like I just sat back, observed. Be like, all right, this how generally clients come up to the preparers. This is what to expect from clients. Like they're frequently asked questions I got to know about, and yeah, just like observing things like that. It's pretty much helped me out this year and helped me get set up completely.
Got it. So it's more so like you took time to really learn not just the business, but the actual processes involved in the business with being able to service clients so that your business can have success.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And so with that mentor, that's important to have, especially when it comes to like starting up a business, when it comes to trying to have a successful business, having a mentor in place is key. For you, is there just like one mentor, or do you have like a small circle of people that you rely on that you believe will help you get you to where you need to be?
So it used to be just one mentor, like majority of all last year, just one. But then I started joining a lot of Facebook groups, and they have been very open. And so now it's like I have a circle of people now to contact,
Nice.
and they have been phenomenal. Honestly, they don't really criticize for small questions people in there may have, because in those groups, like some of them have at least 5,000 members in there. One of them actually made it onto, I think, CNBC News at one point recently, which is pretty nice because that lets me know, like, okay, I'm with the credible group here.
Okay. And guys, as you all are tuning in on today, and some of you all are just coming in the room, I want to let you know that we are live today with Southeast Tax Specialist. Mr. Entrepreneur and owner of that is Mr. Trey Harris. We have him here with us on today. And I do see someone commented, they said Circle of Helpers is great. And so that is one good thing, Trey, that you have recognized, even as a young man, having mentorship, asking questions is so important when it comes to business, because on average, from me being around this, they say, it takes about 3 to 5 years for a business to be able to be self-sustaining, and it takes time for that growth process. And when people try to take shortcuts, businesses can fail. And guys, as we have Trey Harris here, if you missed earlier, he did have the flu earlier this week, and he is being a trooper. He did not cancel on me. And of course, I'm happy that we still have him on today. So you all bear with him as he is fighting through. He's feeling better and he's doing better. And we are here talking about taxes We're talking about Southeast tax specialists. So you're setting it up to be able to function year round and not just be seasonal. Some
Yes,
of the things that you can provide, the services that you can provide year round for individuals and businesses, can you tell us what some of those things are?
yeah. So something that I'm actually going to implement this time around is bookkeeping, because what I noticed last year is that a lot of folks, when they have or when they do freelance or self-employed work, they don't really like to keep a lot of records on hand.
Mhm.
And so it's just nice to go ahead and try to see like you can reconstruct their expenses for them. Which I know it's not, reconstructing expenses is not the same thing as bookkeeping,
Mhm.
but it's helpful that you know how to do that. And then like after you do reconstruction, you can be like, oh, well, because I seen like your receipts and bank statements, whatever the case may be, it's not systemized. So I can do that for you as an additional service. I can give you bookkeeping. And
Mhm.
so just knowing that right there, like for me, that was a no-brainer. So I went ahead and got certified on QuickBooks.
Nice.
And then you could also do, like I said, credit restoration. You could also do like business formation services. I've seen a few people doing that.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of something else. Yeah, that's all coming to the top of my brain right now.
I think that's good, especially when it comes to like businesses, right? Like most business owners and entrepreneurs, we are good at doing business deals, or like let's say I'm into real estate investing. So I'm good at finding the deals, making sure my numbers are right and all of that. But I suck at tracking everything because like with that business account, like you mentioned, when you have that designated business account for your LLC or whether you're sole proprietorship, QuickBooks helps you track everything. And I hate doing it. I don't like going in there and doing all of it. But some of it, once you get it set up, some of those reoccurring expenses, it automatically classifies itself. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know the exact words that I'm looking for, but once you get it set up and tracked, it's not as difficult to track. But
Yeah,
even with that, a lot of us entrepreneurs and investors, we still don't like going in to QuickBooks doing all of that. And it takes up a lot of our time. So having someone like you to be able to do it and be able to pay them a certain monthly amount, it pays huge dividends because when you don't have someone to do that, as you know, like things slip through the cracks and it ends up costing us,
yeah.
all because we didn't want to pay someone to go ahead and do it. So what when you talk about that bookkeeping, it is so needed, and long term it saves us tons of money in the process. As you're going through this process with Southeast tax specialists, with this tax business, what are some of the hurdles or obstacles that you faced?
So the back end work, and I'm still trying to revamp a little bit myself as well with the website, because the website that I'm currently using, I mean, it's cool, but I liked it when they first had it, not like after all these updates they made. So I was thinking about like trying to make a new website for myself, and then also it's the marketing, because like with me, I was a social media influencer at one point, and
Mhm.
I noticed like the traction, I guess, for taxes, because I guess like it's not really that popular amongst everybody. It's hard to try to get out there on social media. So also like the budget you gotta deal with also varies per person. And so the budget I had to deal with, I mean, it wasn't very helpful in my case. So I did a lot of word of mouth marketing.
Got it. I see what you're saying. To get your name out there more and using social media, having to fund to push it out there immediately can be a little difficult.
Yeah.
when you're first starting out. So good point. So with starting out a business, that's important that people remember that oftentimes you have to front a lot of the money. It's on you to do that while you still maintain your current lifestyle, bills, and expenses. So when it comes to that, like how difficult or how easy has it been for you?
One more time.
How difficult has it been or how easy has it been to be able to maintain like maintaining your own household stuff, but
Uh,
pushing money into your business?
so with that, it's definitely you're gonna have to sacrifice. You will sacrifice for that. Because I remember watching this video on YouTube back when I was trying to get inspiration for it,
Mhm.
and I forget who I was watching at the time. Just somebody random to me, but he was like, "All right, write down on a piece of paper what you're not willing to sacrifice when trying to make this business." And my paper was only like a fourth full, and then in the video, some people had like a list all the way down the paper.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, whatever you have on your paper right now, those are your chances of not having a successful business.
Mm.
So your paper is all the way full, you're not gonna make
Because
it.
you got too many obstacles in the way that are saying, I'm not willing to give up this, there's too many things. Yeah.
But it's
I
like
get what you're saying there.
it's
Like,
like obstacles that you're making for yourself. It's not really something that's like you come up against just because like it's just there. Yeah, you putting that burden on yourself, and so that's going to be extra energy just wasted into other time instead of like the time put it into your business to get to where you
mhm.
want to be at.
And of course, I don't follow you on all social media platforms, but do you ever, and you may already do this now on other ones, do you ever think about like doing short 10-second, 30-second clips of like a tax tip, whether it's once a week or once a month or something like that?
Yeah, I actually started one this last Saturday, and so I was going to start doing that a lot more instead of just like the post that I've usually done so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think that'll help as well as you start up, with this business. And then even if you connect it to, and of course, we don't know if TikTok is going. Do you have TikTok?
Yeah, I do still.
Yeah. So whether it's going to be here or not, we don't know. But and then of course, even with YouTube, having those YouTube shorts, that's another thing I like because you can get tons of views, hundreds of views, thousands of views with those shorts and then leave your link in there for people to be able to reach out to you, contact you, click on those links if they have further questions. So I think that's something good. And I'm glad we're catching you in this interview while the business is still young so that we can track your progress as you continue to go along. But of course, guys, if you're just tuning in, we're here live with Trey Harris, Southeast tax specialist, talking about taxes on today, his journey as a young entrepreneur and business owner when it comes to taxes and some of the hurdles that he's faced, some of the things that he's doing now. But through all of this, and if you all have questions or tax questions, be sure to write them in the comment section on Facebook. And if you are on YouTube, write them in the chat section. I am live on YouTube as well, Coach Steele's Finance Training. But when you think about everything far as your life and where you are now, has there ever been like a role model or somebody who's inspired you to continue to press through to where you are now?
Oh yeah, my mom. Because she been behind me every step of the way, and now it's like since graduate or not graduating, but going off to college, it's kind of
Mhm.
like she. I wouldn't say like she let go, but like she's just watching from afar now, and it's like okay,
Mhm.
I don't want to disappoint you. So, yeah, just keeping that in the back of my mind, it's just like okay, it's a good reminder, like I'm just not doing this for myself. Everything I want to do, I want to give back. And when I get to that point, so it's always
give back, I guess, in a sense, like do something for her.
Yeah, and not just like for my family, like this for the community. When I get up to that point, like I did want to get back to Hinesville as well.
And you know that's why I like this interview as well, because being that you were an athlete in Liberty County, so many times when it comes to athletes, we always tell you all the league, the NBA, NFL, whatever it is, we're always saying athletes and pushing them towards that goal. But a lot of times where we have failed young athletes is also prepping them for the real world. And like, okay, what if you don't go to the league? What are your other goals? What are your aspirations? What are some of the other things in life you want to accomplish? Because you can be successful outside of sports. And so, with you being a young man coming from Liberty County, that's why I like this conversation, because, of course, what we're making right now is timeless. So, there are going to be other young people that can watch this interview and they get to see the process of Trey Harris and how you went from playing sports to still not just surviving, but thriving and building your own thing, building your own business outside of the game of basketball or track. And I'm trying to remember if you played in cross country, or those are the main three, or did you play any other sports?
Yeah, those were the main three.
Those are the main three. Who knows? Maybe you did some football in middle school that I don't know about. Did you ever play football for the rec?
Yeah, I did. I didn't play tackle though. I think I only did flag. Yeah, I only did flag.
Got it. What made you decide no more football?
That wasn't my choice. I wanted to play.
Got it. And it's cool that I do like the fact you did say, your mom is that role model, that inspiration. And it's interesting because I know her and I know how she feels about her boys. How you said, this mother, she's taking a step back and kind of letting you out of the nest to fly on your own. And that probably was hard for her because she is so protective and she cares about you all and wants you to be so successful. And she's one of those mothers like, don't mess with my baby. Like it's on the topic. So with having that freedom and doing things on your own for a few years now, how does it feel? Young man leaving college, graduating, and maintaining, like, for the young people that are watching, and it's like, I guess we call it adulting now. How does adulting feel?
Great.
What about adulting caught you off guard or you didn't expect?
Again, like it comes to the sacrifices. Like it's a lot of responsibilities that I didn't realize like my mom was making, or sacrifices my mom was making for us.
Yes.
When we was younger, especially like my mom had 4 kids. She basically got everybody to go where they need to go.
Yes.
We never knew like what she had going on, so it's just like, dang, that full circle moment is like, that's crazy.
And then her kids, like, y'all were active. Like, y'all weren't just sitting around the house.
Yeah.
Y'all were constantly doing things. But I do like the fact she had enough wisdom to make sure y'all active. It kept you out of trouble, kept you doing something positive. But can you imagine, like, think about your budget now, and she's paying for like multiple AAU tournaments, trips, and traveling on them, and having to pay to get into the games. Like, think about your budget right now. It's crazy. And so when you think about the sacrifices that our parents make, and now you get to see how important, when we talk about financial literacy and budgeting, how often do you sit down personally and look at your budget and your finances to decide what's going to happen month to month or week to week?
Every time when I add something to the list, so I'll say that's about nearly monthly.
I I feel like, and I talk about financial literacy so much, it feels like almost every week I'm probably looking at my numbers just subconsciously. And with you in finances, you're probably, before you know it, picking up a pen, write down some numbers, calculating things, because you do that, at work as well. And so when we dive a little bit further in the Southeast tax specialist, and I'll jump back into more of the tax area as we're here live talking about, taxes, because it is tax season. And when we look at, I would say, tax preparation tips, what are a few tips that you would give our listeners on today about tax preparation tips?
So I'll say don't come in with a pretense of you always trying to get you always getting a refund, because sometimes it's not the case. Always watch for who you go to prepare your taxes. If you do choose to go to somebody else, always make sure like you check their qualifications and their history, because it is possible for some tax preparers to be scammers. Also, sorry. Also, like, keep track of your receipts, like we mentioned earlier, and always do your best to not be fraudulent, because that can come back to you.
So, and then, like, when you say keep track of your receipts, do you have like any advice, or whether it's any apps or a system for people who struggle like me to keep track of receipts? What is like some guidance or advice you would give?
Yeah, so depending on what you do, so I could use Uber as an example, because I've done it for a little while now. So I use, or Uber, like they have your own mileage tracking system, but I like to use QuickBooks as well now. And so I go in there, I tally up like the amount of miles I did for the day, or the business meals, or not business, or they call it business meals on the tax preparation papers. Get that, because now like for meals you can only deduct 50% of the actual cost. And what else?
That's interesting, even when you talk about that, because we hear things sometimes and we get excited and we say, "Oh, great! I get to deduct this meal, so I'm going to a Cheesecake Factory. I'm going to wherever, and I'm thinking I'm getting to deduct this whole $300 bill." But technically, as you mentioned, I get to use, if of course I'm sure I need to be discussing, or it needs to be some type of business transaction or something that's going on during that meal. I'm not sure the exact science behind all of that, and you may be able to elaborate, but it's only 50% of those meals, the cost of the meals.
Yeah, so it's no longer 100% like how it used to be. They switched that up to 50% now, I think, beginning actually this year. So you can go in there and purchase the meal if, like, say for example, like you were trying to, just interview a client, or but yeah, like anything like of business interest, or expressing you trying to get something involved as a business with the meal, is you can deduct it 50%.
Got it. And so you use QuickBooks to keep track of that stuff. Like, if you're using QuickBooks to keep track of miles, like when you say you use QuickBooks to keep track of the miles, is it you're just typing in those miles, or is there like a QuickBook apps, like when you get in your car, it's tracking it?
So in the app, like I can put in there like the standard deduction for mileage is 0.67 cents per mile this year. And so for the amount of miles I did for the day, I'll go in, I'll put that in, and then it'll calculate that.
Got it. Got it. So it makes it a little bit easier to keep track of all that stuff. And so, of course, you all, if you're just tuning in, we're here live with Trey Harris. You can make sure that you share this live as we're talking about taxes on today. Young entrepreneur. His company is called Southeast Tax Specialist. He provides a number of services. And I'm going to, let's see if I can find the right one. I'm going to post something. As you see here, it says Southeast Tax Specialist. Maximize your tax return with our expert help. And you do see the number down there, 912-321-5461. So as we're talking about taxes and preparing for tax season on today, Trey has given us a few tax tips about tax season prepping. Some people may not have anything together yet. And of course, then we're like getting our papers together. We're trying to remember some of the things to grab. So I would say this, and as you all are listening in, if you have a few questions, make sure you write them in the chat section so that we can raise those questions. Of course, as you ask, every question is going to answer is going to be different depending on that individual situation. But far as prepping for taxes, Trey, when it comes to real estate, what are some papers or some documents for someone who, whether they are a homeowner or whether they are a real estate investor, what are some documents that we need to start looking for or getting?
So you definitely want to keep up with like your wherever is being used for the purchase, like your sales invoice or the purchase invoice. Sorry.
No problem. No problem.
Sheesh.
Take your time. Take your time. I don't know if you got any water by you or not, but guys, as you're tuning in on today, Trey, like we talked about earlier, he had the flu earlier this week, and he still decided to come on live and do the interview talking about taxes. So we definitely appreciate you fighting through all of that. But like you were saying about what to do far as real estate, some of the tax tips.
Yeah, so like you'll need, so if you're buying a home, you need to make sure like you have the invoice, you have that you when you first bought the home, get the purchase price. That way you can like compute your depreciation costs. And then if you made any type of like renovations to it when you're trying to sell it, you keep track of like everything you did as far as renovations. That way, so keep all the receipts for that. What else? Any casualty losses dealt from like elemental storms, so like storm or fires, hurricanes, earthquakes, stuff of that nature.
Oh, that's a good point, because in this area we just had like a couple months ago we had that hurricane that came through, and I'm sure people had some losses. So that's definitely a good tax tip to remember, so that I need to remember that one too. I didn't think about that, and I'm not sure, and I don't want to throw you on the spot. I do know. I forgot if it's a 1098 for our interest that we paid on those mortgages on those homes that are being financed. The interest, I don't know what percentage, but I know we can use those as, I don't know if that falls out of the write-offs, deductions, or what.
Yeah, so you can deduct that as well. So it'll be a 1099 INT. Is what it'll be called. Is what you'll be looking for that document.
Okay. All right. And then let's see if I have some other questions on here as well. So definitely with real estate, there's, that I know can get very detailed when you're working with someone doing that stuff. Far as business owners, what would be your advice for like business owners when you talk about deducting business expenses? What are some things that they need to be gathering or put together right now?
So yeah, definitely have like if you're going to somebody new or just trying to file with somebody else the first time, like make sure you have proof of your business formation, just so they can acknowledge that it actually exists. Make sure that it is so broad. Make sure, make sure like you keep track of your income. So, for example, like if you do retail, like you want to use like your POS system to make sure like you get all your sales of that nature. Making sure like you keeping track of the kickbacks or returns, your inventory, like making sure like you keep track of every little detail, like you get as much as possible back when you want to start filing. Because like you don't want to like just start your preparation and then you're like, dang, okay. The preparer brought up like, okay, I didn't keep track of my expenses as far as like the purchases I made for my inventory, and I probably lost down 15,000 right there.
Yeah.
So it's like keeping up with every little thing that you do business wise. That's like literally the simplest way I can put it. It's really specific towards the niche.
Mm-hmm. And I know some people have, like, everyone has different views when it comes to taxes. Like some people are like, I don't want to have to owe Uncle Sam anything, but I also don't want to have to give too much.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to find that happy medium for the average 9 to 5 worker that has a W-2 on how much to have taken out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, do you have like any advice or guidance for people who are looking to figure out? Because everyone doesn't get excited about a tax return. They feel like, well, I just loaned the money out to the government for like 12 months, interest free. So if you're the type of person that's trying to figure out how not to give too much, what would be your advice?
So I would say look into your employer benefits, or like if you're a business owner, like you can look into like starting your own like contribution account. So like get into your Roth IRAs or traditional IRAs, health savings account, fiscal spending accounts, donating to charities, because that'll be ways that you can kind of like reduce
Mm-hmm.
on your taxable income. And that's what also like with capital gains, it's like I know with Airbnbs like you can loophole for sure, but I'll save that for another time. With crypto, like I know you could do like something called tax loss harvesting, and what that is like if you know, say like you're like a high income earner in that department,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like your sole like passive income per se. Capital gains on there, if you're single, like I think the exemption is 150,000. But if you see yourself trying to earn over that, you can take a loss to offset the gain that's over that threshold amount. And so, or you can take like multiple losses to offset that gain. And so like you can say like, okay, I put 300,000 into XRP,
Mm-hmm.
or I put 100,000 into XRP at $2, and then it rose up to 3, and now I'm getting 200,000. So now the threshold is 150,000. So I want to do a couple losses to that equals out to 50,000, just so I can get myself at the threshold. And so you want to take short-term losses.
Okay, so you're saying like if I invest 100,000 in the XRP, now the value is up to 300,000.
Yeah,
And instead of taking all of it out at once, you're saying just do 50,000 increment?
no, so like say like you bought XRP back in like 2022, and then now XRP is like at the price it's at now,
Mm-hmm.
and you sold it, and now you're like, dang, okay, now I got freaking $200,000 worth of capital
gains. Yes.
Yeah, capital gains. So now I'm gonna be taxed. And now it's like, all right, I can still like manipulate that because I mean it's the beginning of the year. I got until the end of the year to take a couple losses to go back below the threshold, so I don't have to pay the tax. And so short term losses count like as long as you sell before the end of the year.
Got it. So you're saying if you have some losses that are out there
in that same year that you sold the XRP,
in that same year, then go ahead and sell those off too, so that you can count them against those profits from the XRP.
yeah.
Okay. And then DeWanda Harris has a comment in here. She said, if I only claim myself now because I have to, should I have more taxes taken out throughout the year? Good question.
Again, it depends on your situation, but majority of the time, no.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because when you were up under that roof, that's a good tax break there. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, but yeah, you're right. It does depend.
So, okay, yeah. But no, actually no, because now it depends on like, because mom, you were married, and now like you don't have to be in that bracket under married joint or married joint married filing jointly. Sorry. So now like you can be in the lower tax bracket now because of that. And so because of that, you can be in the single tax brackets, and single tax brackets are different from married file jointly. So now it's like you can get less taxes taken out, along with more deductions being able to be taken out now.
And how much does she owe you for that advice?
I'll say like quarter.
Go on and cash out about $20. But when you transitioned from being in Georgia to going to college in South Carolina, was there a big difference in like culture or environment, having been in Georgia this whole time for a majority of your life, and then well, I can't say majority of your life, but it feels like it. From Georgia to South Carolina?
Yeah, pretty much. Like it. Sports wise, yeah, because it was different. Not seeing like a lot of courts around, and definitely people were a lot more about baseball, soccer, and golfing rather than like track and field, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But football still same intensity. But also I say like it's different. It's a different vibe here. Hospitality is definitely like a major strong suit here. I can say that for sure.
Do you think you would ever move? Do you feel like with what you're doing, your job as an entrepreneur, do you think like you'll ever end up moving somewhere else, or do you think you're going to kind of stay where you're at for a while?
Oh yeah, I'll for sure move because for me personally, it's not South Carolina is not, or at least where I am, is not geared towards. Excuse me, it's not geared towards what I do. I'll say like I said, it's geared towards hospitality. So if you're doing something as far as with retail or restaurant. I mean, it'll be your focus area here.
And is Uber seen as like, if you're an Uber driver, like you mentioned earlier, is Uber also seen as like your own business as well? Like sole proprietorship or?
So you'll be counted as an independent contractor, which you'll still end up using like a Schedule C for that. But only if you get above the threshold for that though. If you earn more than $600 on there.
Okay. So if that's the case, then you have like at least two businesses then, because you have Southeast Tax Specialist and you're seen as an independent contractor as well with Uber. So that's like two separate businesses that you have.
Yeah, pretty much. But I said honestly, Uber has been something part-time I've done for the longest since like 2020, because I just to get a couple bucks here and there during college. But this year I had to go over the limit, unfortunately. I can't do that. But I was like, okay, this time I have to do another Schedule C.
Well, the cool thing is, one, you could potentially do your taxes yourself, but also with doing Uber, are there certain aspects of it with the transportation, with the gas, with the mileage that is also going to give you access to more write-offs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like you have if you only use your car for Uber, then you can deduct like the insurance and stuff as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice because you got to have insurance anyway. So that's a huge benefit there. Didn't think about that. Even like, what about like oil changes, tire changes, and things like that?
Yeah. All repairs, maintenance. Basically like just regular upkeep with the cars is gonna be deductible as well. So like standard gas, even like meals, like going to the gas station, getting a quick snack or whatever, like that can be deductible as well.
Okay. I remember one young man, actually, you know him, Isaiah Scott. He used to do Uber as well. And he told me like 2 years ago that if you Uber for a certain period of time, that they'll pay for your education or for schooling. Have you ever heard anything like that?
Yeah, so on the app, so I forget how different it is from 2022. So now they got it to where there's tiers to your driving status. So you got blue, gold, platinum, and diamond. And I think at gold, that's when you can get the 100% tuition through them at ASU. I think it's Arizona State.
Okay. Of course, guys, as you're tuning in on today, and we probably got about 5-10 more minutes left, and I have held Trey Harris hostage here on this interview. He is still battling the flu, has been a trooper, and I definitely appreciate that. But as you're tuning in, and we're talking about his business, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, when we look at Southeast Tax Services, what inspired, like what made you pick those colors for your logo, and how did you decide what you would call it?
So the colors is just because it really stood out to me. My usual favorite colors is blue and black, but I was like, no, I don't want to do blue. So I went with the regular black and gold colors because it's just something that a color combo that I like. And then the name is just because I've been in the Southeast for so long, and I was just like, yeah, I'll just call it Southeast. But I do plan on trying to change the name, give it a DPA, because I feel like it's too specific. And so I'll give it a broader name eventually.
Because of, you don't want to just be known for like the taxes, but you want to be able to have something broad that I guess fits some of those other services that you provide.
Yeah, but it's like other services that I plan on putting into my business. And so with that in mind, I'm just like, okay, eventually I will have to change the name.
With Southeast Tax Services and how it's set up, are you able to eventually, as your, let's say, clientele builds up and you have so many different clients coming to you that you cannot um, service all of them yourself personally? Now, I haven't done a lot of research, and I've heard the technology is getting better when it comes to doing taxes, where you're able to do it even faster than ever before.
Mhm.
But if it does become to where you got tons of people coming in at once, are you able to bring people under your umbrella and hire others, and I guess funnel clients to them?
Yeah. Masa, you can also partner with other people as well, or other preparers if they want to have that happen. So I've seen it going on like a couple of times in the Facebook group. Like they were saying like, oh, I have way too many clients that I attended around this time. Like, are people able to help me out? And then like they'll start reaching out to them, saying,
Nice.
okay, what do they need? Like, what do they need done? Or like, how many people can they take off their hands for them? And then like, I assume like it's some type of negotiations on that back end part. So
Okay. Well, that's good. Another good reason to be in a good circle of people and connection, because that may bring some more cash flow into your business. Far as being certified to be able to do this, what's the process to getting certified so that you can be a tax preparer and provide those services?
so you can like, so I'll say this right now, which is kind of scary in the same sense. People don't really need certifications to even start doing this,
Hmm.
which is scary because that's why I said people be scamming when they do this. But you can start with the annual filing season program that can get you certified at least like under the IRS, just to like that lets them know like, okay, you actually done your due diligence, you're studying, and we're confident that you're able to do the taxes. Or like you can go further up and do CPA route, or also EAs, enrolled agents. Enrolled agents are going to be your bet when it comes to doing taxes because they specialize in that.
Okay.
That when it comes to CPAs.
And like you said, that is good awareness for everybody. I like talking about financial literacy, educating people. Like you said, it can be scary, the fact that anybody can do it. And you mentioned it earlier, and I forgot exactly what you said, but what was it when you said so that you don't get scammed and you do have someone who's means well or certified or can do your taxes? What are one of the questions or something you should ask or look for when you're deciding who you want to do your taxes?
So I like to start off with their pricing because I think like if what you're pricing doesn't equate to like what your qualifications are, then I feel like you're probably just trying to get my money and just trying to do this my tax return fast, which also means like they probably won't give back your returns for you to sign it off before they just put it in the system for you, and that is unethical. That's illegal. Also, you can ask like, but also like you can ask if they do your pricing by form or if they go by the refund. And they say they go by the refund amount, that's also illegal.
Mm, interesting.
Hmm.
Because depending on how much work that they do and forms they have to fill out, that should really be how they decide how much they're going to charge you.
Yeah,
Not, oh, if I got you back $10,000, I get 10%.
yeah, that's illegal. Like that's stated in the circular 230.
Good point. Very good point. Like you can't tax people based off of what they got back. So I like that. That's a very, very good point.
Yeah.
So let's see here. As we get ready to come to a close, I don't want to hold you much longer. You've been here for about an hour. toughing through the remnants of the flu, and I definitely appreciate it. It's been great having this conversation. I'm literally in the moment catching up with Trey, as you all are as well, because I haven't talked to him in a couple of years. If someone wants to get with you one-on-one, get some questions answered, or potentially need their taxes done, how can we reach back out to you? How can they connect to you?
So you can actually find me on Facebook. You can either reach out to my business page at Southeast Tax Specialist LLC, or you can reach out to my personal page at Trey Harris and TRAY, or just as a name, you got it up there. And you can also contact me at my phone number at 912-321-5461. And also my do you got my business email or no?
I don't think I have the business email, but I can add it in there later. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I have it on here.
Okay. Well, you can get me or you can shoot me an email at my business email at tharris@southeasttaxspecialist.net.
Yeah, I think it's on the bottom of this one, but it's not. You know what? Let me see. I'm not the best in the world when it comes to technology. Let's see. Boom. No, that's the website.
Yeah, that's the website.
www. That's the website. So yeah, I'm not sure if I have it on any of these. But what I will do is I'm going to see if I can quickly share a portion of the website. Let's see here. And I'll see how it looks on my end. Okay, so I am sharing a portion of it. I'm going to scroll through it. So this is the website that he's talking about. You can go to, there's a link where it says book now. You can click on that book now link to jump on the calendar, on the schedule as well. And you all can take your time to go to that website as well. And your social medias, you mentioned Facebook, any other social medias that they can tune in to get tax tips or information that you'll be putting out in the future?
Yeah, so I'm also on Instagram at the same handle at Southeast Tax Specialist LLC. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Well, I definitely appreciate you jumping in on today to Coach Steele's Finance Training to help us out to prepare, to get us prepared for our tax season. And of course, I'm excited for you as your business continues to excel and you continue to grow it. And hopefully, maybe whether it's a few months or whether it's a year from now, we check back in and kind of see where you are as you continue to grow your business here at Coach Steele's Finance Training, where we talk about financial literacy, and we'll be looking to learn a lot from you as time goes by. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Trayvon Harris with Southeast Tax Specialist. Thank you very much for having us. And is there anything else you would like to say?
It's been a pleasure being on here, getting to chat with y'all. I enjoyed it, Coach Steele. I'll definitely hit you after this.
All right, good. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be prepared for next Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, where we will have another financial literacy conversation. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Subscribe to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Thank you all, and you all have a blessed day.